Hi there, everybody. This is David, and do I have some good news for you? And it's regarding a potential Final Fantasy Tactics sequel that we might be getting. This is super exciting, and I do want to tell you all about it. And I definitely do think that's worth the sub as you come and you join our party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your hype. It helps me out a ton. So what I'm talking about here is Square Enix actually announcing that they are happy with the sales of Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilise Chronicles. Woo! Fricking who, I've got to say, it has sold 1 million copies. I feel like it was just yesterday whenever I was coming to y'all and I was talking about, potential sequels and things like that. And I was like, I wonder how much it sold. We don't really know. We know that it sold really, really, really well over on Steam, like 140,000 something copies, but we didn't know, the sales on the other consoles or anything else like that. But now we do. It sold substantially. It sold really, really, really well. And the best part about this is Matsuno, one of the directors of Final Fantasy Tactics, expected roughly 800,000 to 1 million sales over 3 years. He ended up getting that in 3 months. That's huge. That's freaking huge, y'all. Y'all have no idea. Because here's the thing about Square Enix. Whenever they're happy with sales, they announce sales numbers. Whenever they're not happy with sales, it's just quietly swept under the rug, and they don't say anything. We didn't see any sales figures for, like, Strangers of Paradise or Babylon's Fall or Forspoken or anything else like that. But, we're seeing sales numbers for the good ones. I think this is really freaking cool. And also, Matsuno, the director, he actually joked on Twitter way back when, 3-something months ago, whenever this was first being released, and he said, you know what, if this thing sells like 2 million copies, initially he said 1.5 million copies, but then he's like, half, 1.5 million, 2 million copies, then we're going to make like an immediate sequel. And it was like a joking thing, like, this is never going to happen, but if it does, immediate sequel. But now it's made 1 million copies in 3 months. Like, that's really, really good numbers. Like, it's up there with his joking numbers, if you know what I mean. Just for comparison's sake, Final Fantasy Tactics, the original, back in the PlayStation 1, sold 2.4 million copies over its lifetime. Okay? Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions over on the PSP, that's the remake, only sold 300,000 copies, while Tactics Advance on the Game Boy Advance sold 1 million copies, and Tactics Advance 2 sold 670,000 copies on the DS. So these are really, really good numbers. These are up there with the best of the Final Fantasy Tactics games. This is absolutely huge, and it really has exceeded sales expectations because not only did they put out the little graphic for it and they're announcing it, they actually put out a press release for it too, and they're celebrating it with a sale. They're doing a first ever digital sales thing for it where you can purchase the download edition of it for 20% off the first time it's ever going on sale. So they're obviously happy for that. And then they also put out a statement, and this is from the director, Kazutoyo Meihiro. He says, "Congratulations on 1 million copies. Hello everyone, this is Director Meihiro. Sales of Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilise Chronicles have now surpassed 1 million copies. This is all thanks to your enthusiastic support." So he's happy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's super happy. The entire development team is not only grateful to all of you, but we're also using this joy as motivation to continue considering future updates to make the game even more enjoyable and enjoyable for even more people. We hope that you will continue to support us. So they're saying future updates. That to me screams DLC, but I'm hoping, really, really hoping that it also means a sequel. I know that they were talking about ports of Advance and Advance 2, but I'm ported out, you know what I mean? I feel like we're getting ports and ports and ports and ports and ports and remasters and all of this, and it's I would like something new, I would like something new. I would like something new in the Evilise universe, and I think that this is the time to do it. We also know that they were happy with the sales of Tactics Ogre Reborn, because they put that one out first to kind of test the waters. And they were like, you know what, if Tactics Reborn does well, then we are going to create Final Fantasy Tactics. So it obviously did well because, they went ahead and they made Final Fantasy Tactics. And this is actually really, really, really key. So, before all this happened, before Tactics was even announced, before, back when we were like still clamoring for this game, a couple years back in 2024, an article emerged and it says Yasumi Matsuno encourages fans to play Unicorn Overlord amid Final Fantasy Tactics revival demands. So yeah, he's basically saying, hey, you know what? We want Unicorn Overlord to succeed, and then we want Tactics Ogre to succeed, and then we'll get Final Fantasy Tactics. Well, guess what? Unicorn Overlord succeeded. Tactics Ogre succeeded, and now Final Fantasy Tactics is succeeding. The tactical genre is definitely here. This is great. It says here that Matsuno took to Twitter, sharing an image of his copy of Unicorn Overlord, sparking renewed calls for a remaster or a sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics. However, Matsuno's response was clear. He urged fans to divert their attention instead to Unicorn Overlord, a suggestion that might disappoint some but offers a new avenue for RPG enjoyment. He appreciates the passion, but recommends giving Unicorn Overlord a chance. It's nice of you to say that, but first, let's play Unicorn Overlord. This is key. I pray that sales of this new simulation RPG will exceed 1 million copies. Yeah, so he wanted Unicorn Overlord to hit 1 million copies to show Square Enix that, yeah, there's sales potential here, And guess what? Now, Final Fantasy Tactics has hit that number as well. It is here. They have promised time and time and time again, hey, if the sales numbers are there, then we're going to be making a sequel, and guess what? The sales numbers are there. I think that we're going to be getting a sequel, and I am super excited about this, super duper stoked about this. But now I want to hear from y'all. What do you think about this? Do you think that we're actually going to be getting the sequel? Do you think that this is all just smoke and mirrors? Do you think that we're going to be getting Tactics Advance, ports, that sort of thing? What avenue do you think that Square Enix is going to go with this? I'm hoping a brand new sequel, or maybe even a prequel to Final Fantasy Tactics. Something in the Ivalice universe. That's what I would love. But I do want to hear from y'all. Let me know in the comments. And as always, have a good day.